She is 60 years old, and the world calls her poor. Poor because her pockets are light, because her house is small, because her name is never written, where wealth is celebrated, but they never counted. The riches hidden in her silence. They never measured. The love she carried like breath. Quiet, necessary, endless. At 60, her back bends slightly. Not from age alone, but from years of lifting burdens that were never hers to carry. She learned early that love does not always arrive with comfort, and survival does not always come with applause. Her hands are rough, not because life was kind, but because she kept working. Even when hope felt expensive, she fed hearts before feeding herself, warmed others while standing in the cold, and smiled so no one would notice how tired she truly was. She owns no gold, yet her love shines brighter than anything locked in a vault. She has no luxury, yet her presence feels like shelter. She has no fortune, yet her heart gives endlessly, without asking for return. If you listen closely, her silence tells stories, louder than words ever could. This is not a tale of poverty. This is the story of a woman, rich in a love that money could never buy. She wakes before the sun, not because she has places to go, but because worry never learned how to sleep beside her. Morning finds her already tired, yet still willing, still standing, still choosing care over rest. Her life was never decorated with ease. It was built with patience, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. She learned how to stretch little things, a handful of rice, a moment of hope, a smile meant to hide hunger. People passed her by, measuring success with loud numbers, with cars, with titles, with pride. She measured life differently, by how many hearts she protected, how many tears she wiped in silence, how many nights she stayed awake, so others could sleep in peace. Her love was never dramatic, never announced, never demanded to be seen. It lived in small acts. Warm food placed quietly, prayers whispered for someone else, dreams abandoned, so others could keep theirs alive. At 60, her eyes carry storms, yet they still soften when she looks at the one she loves. Pain visits her often, but bitterness never learned her address. She chose kindness, even when life gave her reasons to become hard. She is poor in wealth, yes, but only to those who understand money more than meaning, to the soul that recognizes love. She is overflowing, abundant, limitless. Her story continues, not written in gold, but carved into the hearts of those who survived, because she never stopped loving. She has walked through decades, carrying invisible burdens, battles no one asked her about, struggles no one saw. Every wrinkle on her hands tells a story of endurance. Every line on her face is proof of silent victories. Her days were measured, not in hours, but in responsibilities. She fed those who complained less than she did, cared for those who needed more than she could give, and forgave people who never asked for forgiveness. Her love was not loud. It did not demand attention, but it healed wounds that the world refused to notice. She learned that patience was not a virtue, it was survival. To smile when inside she wanted to scream, to forgive when justice never arrived, to keep going when rest was a luxury she could not afford. Her hands built homes, not for herself, but for everyone around her. Her heart protected dreams, even those that were not hers. Her life became a quiet sanctuary, where hope could survive, where love could thrive, without needing acknowledgement. Even when she faced betrayal, she refused bitterness. Even when she lost, She continued to give. Strength for her was not about dominance, but about endurance, resilience, and the ability to keep loving in a world that often gives nothing in return. At 60, she does not ask for recognition. She does not wait for applause. She has already given more than most could imagine. And yet, she remains gentle, undaunted, a woman whose empty hands carry the weight of countless hearts. Her life is proof that true wealth is not counted in coins, but in courage, love, and the power to endure silently and remain unbroken. She has lived long enough to understand the weight of silence, not the peaceful kind, but the silence that grows when the world refuses to listen, when your pain has no companion, and your tears must fall unseen. Every day demanded more than she had to give, yet she gave it anyway. Her strength was quiet, woven into the fabric of her life, stitched into each act of love, and reinforced by sacrifices that no one noticed. Her dreams were often postponed, folded neatly on a shelf marked "Someday," while she built a life that others could rely on. She carried responsibilities that would have broken others, and still she smiled, so the world never saw the weight she bore. Even when exhausted, she made space for others' happiness. Her patience was infinite, her forgiveness unending. She loved not for recognition, but because giving love was the only way she knew how to survive. Time left its mark on her body, but not on her spirit. Her hands grew calloused from labor, her back bent from duty, yet her heart remained open, her soul unbroken, ready to endure one more day, to give one more gift of care. She is not loud. She does not demand attention, and she does not boast. Her power is in her quiet endurance, her courage in her unwavering heart, and her wealth in the love she continues to give freely, without expectation, without pause, without regret. At 60, she is proof that life may not give riches, but it can make a woman the strongest, the gentlest, and the most valuable treasure anyone could ever know. She breathed struggle, yet exhaled pure love, as if every hardship was filtered through her heart and transformed into compassion. Every ache she carried became a lesson in patience, every disappointment a reminder that love is not weakened by pain, but strengthened by endurance. Her mornings began with care, not for herself, but for the lives around her. She rose before the sun, preparing meals, soothing hearts, and offering comfort, even when her own soul ached. No one saw the cost. No one counted the hours spent giving without pause, sacrificing without acknowledgement. Her hands, though empty, wove warmth into every space she entered. She cleaned, cooked, and cared, not out of obligation, but because her heart could not do otherwise. Every touch was gentle, every word deliberate, every act a quiet rebellion against a world that overlooked the unseen. She knew suffering intimately, yet never let it harden her. She faced loss, betrayal, and the weight of unspoken expectations, but she forgave, continued, and nurtured love. Even when the world seemed ungrateful, her strength was invisible, yet undeniable. She gave without measure, loved without hesitation, and endured without complaint. Her life was a sanctuary for those who could not find one elsewhere. At 60, she may be called poor by the world, but in truth, her wealth is boundless, contained in the heart she healed, in the lives she touched, and in the love she gave freely, without ever asking for anything in return. Her story is not of riches, but of the priceless power of a woman who chooses love over bitterness, kindness over anger, and compassion over indifference. She is a living testament that true wealth cannot be measured in gold, but only in love that endures through decades of struggle, silence, and sacrifice. She carries 60 years, as if they were both a burden and a crown. Each day added weight to her shoulders. Yet every step she took was measured with grace, every movement filled with quiet dignity. Her hands, though empty of gold, held the weight of care for others. She mended broken hearts, nurtured fading hopes, and offered warmth, even when the chill of neglect brushed against her own spirit. Her back may ache, her eyes may show fatigue, but her heart remains a reservoir of unwavering love. Each scar, each wrinkle, each tired sigh is a story of battles fought silently, victories won without notice, and strength discovered in the quietest moments. She endured what many could not imagine. She loved when it was easier to leave. She forgave when it was simpler to resent. And she gave when giving cost her more than most could understand. Her life is a symphony, composed of patience, courage, and care. Every act, every gesture, every word was a note in a song that only those who truly look can hear in its full harmony. At 60, she stands, not because the world lifted her, but because she learned to rise alone, to stand firm against adversity, and to continue giving, even when the world gave nothing in return. She is proof that richness lies not in possessions, but in the strength to love deeply, to endure silently, and to remain gentle in a world that often forgets kindness. Her life is a monument to the uncelebrated power of love, a reminder that a woman with empty hands can still hold the hearts of countless souls and make them whole. She walked through life, bearing burdens that would have crushed the unprepared. Every disappointment, every unspoken sorrow was stacked like bricks upon her shoulders. Yet she carried them silently, never letting them break her outward composure. Her hands were roughened, not by neglect, but by years of tending to others, of giving without asking, of loving without pause. Each act of care, each small sacrifice, was a testament to a heart that understood the true weight of love. She faced betrayal quietly, watched her dreams dissolve, and endured pain that would have hardened most hearts. Yet, she remained gentle, her spirit unshaken, her soul luminous, with the strength that only comes from surviving and forgiving. Through decades of hardship, she learned the art of patience, not as a choice, but as a way of living. To smile when inside she wanted to weep, to forgive when justice never came, to lift others, even when she herself felt crushed. Her resilience was not loud. It did not seek recognition, but it shaped the lives of everyone who was touched by her. Her love was not measured in words, but in the warmth she extended silently, in the comfort she offered without attention, and in the hope she planted. Even in the darkest of times, she became a sanctuary for hearts that were broken, a quiet haven for those who had no one else. At 60, she carries more than years. She carries wisdom, courage, and countless victories that went unnoticed by the world. She teaches that true power is not in wealth or titles, but in endurance, love, and the ability to remain tender in a world that often rewards hardness. Her life is a living testament to the strength of the unseen, the value of quiet giving, and the limitless capacity of a woman who chooses love over bitterness, kindness over revenge, and grace over despair. She has lived 60 years, yet her spirit feels timeless. The world may label her poor, counting the coins she never held. But they cannot measure the wealth of a heart that gives endlessly, that loves without expectation, that nurtures silently, while storms rage all around. Her mornings begin long before dawn, her hands already moving, preparing, tending, soothing. She carries burdens no one else sees, yet she never complains. Each act of care, each sacrifice, is woven into the quiet tapestry of a life devoted to others. She has known loneliness, felt grief that could shatter souls, and faced betrayals that would make others bitter. Yet she forgives, and she continues to give. Her resilience is invisible, but undeniable to those who witness it. Her love does not shout. It whispers, it lingers. It heals without demand. She became a sanctuary for broken hearts, a lighthouse for wandering souls, and a home for hope that had nowhere else to rest. Time has marked her body, but not her essence. Her hands may be empty, her back bent, her eyes lined with years, but her soul remains luminous, and her heart remains generous. She is proof that the richest treasures do not glitter in gold, but glow in the courage, the compassion, and the unwavering love of a woman who has endured and still chooses to care. Her life is a quiet rebellion against a world that forgets the unseen. She gives what cannot be bought. She loves what cannot be measured. And she survives with a strength that is both gentle and eternal. Even at 60, she teaches us love is the truest form of wealth, and a heart that gives freely is worth more than all the riches in the world. She stands at 60 years, a woman the world calls poor, yet she carries riches no gold could ever buy. Her life is a story written in silent sacrifices, in moments unseen, and in love given without expectation or pause. Her hands are empty, but they have built homes of comfort and care. Her back is bent, but it has carried more than most could bear. Her eyes hold memories that speak of endurance, of nights spent worrying for others, of tears shed quietly, so that no one would see her pain. She faced hardships that could have broken many, yet she remained gentle, undaunted, a woman whose heart is larger than any wealth. She gave without measuring, loved without hesitation, and forgave without keeping score. Her love was not loud, but it was relentless. It healed invisible wounds, lifted heavy hearts, and became a refuge for those who had nowhere else to turn. Every act of kindness was a silent victory against a world that overlooked her. She endured betrayal, loss, and neglect, yet never let bitterness take root. Instead, she chose grace, patience, and unwavering compassion. Her life is a monument to the power of quiet strength, to the wealth of love freely given, and to the beauty of a heart that refuses to harden. At 60, she may appear frail, but she is the embodiment of resilience, endurance, and endless giving. She teaches that true richness is not measured in gold or jewels, but in the depth of love and the courage to continue loving, even when the world forgets you. Her story is a lesson. Poverty cannot diminish the wealth of a generous heart, and a woman who loves fully is priceless beyond measure. She is 60 years old, and the world may see her as poor, but in truth, she is richer than kings. Her heart holds oceans of love. Her hands have given endlessly, and her soul shines brighter than all the treasures money can buy. Her life was not easy, but she carried every burden with courage, grace, and silent dignity. She forgave when it was easier to resent, loved when it was easier to leave, and gave when giving cost her everything. She may have no gold, no luxury, no grand accolades. But she is my greatest fortune, my living treasure, the proof that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the strength, love, and endurance of the heart. At 60, she teaches the world that love is the most priceless gift, patience the most enduring strength, and kindness the most powerful legacy. She is my poor woman, my richest treasure, and her story deserves to be told. Comment below if her strength and love touched your heart too.